You're listening to Boomers Today with your host, Frank Sampson.
Welcome to Boomers Today. I'm your host, Frank Sampson. Of course, each week we bring you important and very useful information on issues facing baby boomers, their parents, and other loved ones. And as I do every week, I thank all of you. Our listeners are growing each and every day, and it's because of all of you sharing our podcast station with people or individual podcasts. Many of you are listen on Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, etc. So thank you so much for doing that. And certainly I know why many of you are sharing these shows with people is because we have great guests and provide a tremendous amount of education. I'm not going to disappoint you today. We have with us Lauren Mahakian, who founded Family Connect Care back in 2008 after working with the elderly and memory impaired for several years. Seeing firsthand examples of mistreatment and taking advantage of memory impaired individuals, she saw the need for enhanced care management services and to assure the dignity of those who suffer from a variety of cognitive impairments. So, Lauren, thank you so much for joining us on Boomers Today. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me, Frank.
Yeah, this is such an important subject matter. So, where do I start? So let's start with just the terminology memory care. All right. And
sure.
I know we're going to talk about, I know you have some care homes, which I like to call houses, because sometimes the term homes gets misinterpreted by many, but they're houses. All right. And, but when you say memory care homes or houses that you run, manage, what, tell me more specifically what you mean by that.
Sure. I'd be happy to. So Family Connect Memory Care Homes focuses on dignity, respect, and quality of life for those who have dementia, Alzheimer's, or Parkinson's. And what sets us apart from all other memory care communities, large or small, is our model of care. So in these residential homes, they are licensed by the state of California. The max is 6 residents. Some of my homes are all female. Some homes are co-ed. But what is special about them is that each home is designed to a specific stage of the disease. So one home is for higher functioning folks. Another home is for mild to moderate stage of the disease. And another home is for late stage disease. Okay. And then another home is for those who have behaviors. We specialize in caring and managing people with this disease who also unfortunately experience behaviors. And we do that, Frank, by taking a holistic approach. Our residents are not over-medicated to manage the symptoms. We do it we do it through validation and giving back all of our residents a sense of purpose. What also sets us apart in these residential homes is our caregiver ratio to resident. It's 1 care associate to every 2 residents, plus full-time nursing staff and support staff. In fact, a lot of my families joke around with me saying I have more staff in one home than I do have residents.
Right. Well, it's needed because, I think there's probably people listening going, wow, I thought that if, somebody had behavior issues or something like that, they got to go into nursing, and that's not the case. So clear
Right.
that up. Clear
Yeah.
that up for everybody.
So yeah, it's something I'm very passionate about. As a geriatric care manager for many years, before I opened up my residential homes, I had many clients in the larger communities or even the small communities and homes, and where they were just unable to care for a person with behaviors. So what I mean by behaviors is extreme agitation, combative behavior towards staff or towards other residents, and they would end up being, sent to psych wards and heavily medicated. And it was something that, I'm just very passionate about, because again, a person with this disease can still live a good quality of life without being over medicated. And so, my team, my senior staff, they're certified in craniosacral therapy, which is light touch massage. We give our residents space when they are having that moment of agitation. We give them back their sense of purpose. They are treated with dignity. All of this plays into reducing the behaviors. A lot of times we see behaviors because the person's bored. A lot of times we see when we go into communities or residential homes that the people are just lying around in lounge chairs watching
Right.
TV.
Right.
That's not the case with our model. Our residents are engaged in stimulating activities and tasks, starting right after breakfast all the way up until bedtime, and that is not an exaggeration.
Right. Right. So, take us through, I know we're doing this on audio, all right, but for those that have never seen a care home, a residential care home, kind of take us through, have them maybe kind of explain, almost like you're touring them right now. I mean, what can they see? Because there's a lot of people, I'm sure in California and other states where they have residential care homes, they've never been to one. And then there's some that, just want, they want to just learn a little bit more about it. So take us through. They walk through that front door. What do they see?
When they walk through the front door of a Family Connect memory care home, they will see a beautifully decorated home, warm and friendly, no odors. I have to say that, right? Because in a lot of these facilities, there are unfriendly odors, not in our homes. They'll see residents engaged. They will see staff engaging with the residents. The homes are retrofitted. For example, all of our bathrooms are European style, so roll-in showers, beautifully tiled. Our beautiful outdoor spaces, enough room for residents to do morning laps, afternoon laps, enjoy activities outdoors, beautiful bright colored flowers, just very pleasing to the eye and very comfortable. You won't see the TV on during the day. We are a music therapy home. Music is playing throughout the day. Actually, our families come to visit. We have some families that come to visit their loved ones daily. We have some that visit several times a week, and they stay. Frank, they stay for hours because they're
great.
just having
That's,
such a
yeah.
good time. Yeah, it's awesome. It's truly a family setting,
Right.
and our families, are very important to us. They're entrusting us to care for their loved ones. And as I say to them, their trust means everything, but we're not only taking care of their loved ones, we're also caring for the family's well-being as well.
Right. So I'm going to say something that you'll relate to, I know. I have been in many of these homes. I'm not kidding, maybe 1,000 across the country. Okay. And the one thing that drives me just crazy, all right, and you walk in and you talk to, could be the owner, could be a caregiver, and say, talk to me about some of the activities you do, all right? And many times that response, which kind of irks me, is, well, they really don't want to do anything, all right? Because they might be further along with their dementia and they just don't want to do anything. Number one, give me your response to that. And number two, talk about some of the programs that you have in place to be more engaging. Yeah.
Sure, be happy to. So yeah, I agree with you. I hate hearing that as well. And again, many years as a geriatric care manager, that's exactly what I heard when I went to communities and residential homes. That's why I went on the journey to open my homes. You won't find that in any of my homes. We have our own exclusive engagement program called Stimuli that I personally authored. And Stimuli focuses on all 5 senses, all the while empowering the individual and giving them back a sense of purpose. And each of our residents have a personalized stimuli activity plan based on who they are. Okay, based on their education, their likes, their hobbies, their interests, their occupation. And between myself and our director of stimuli, Zena, and assistant stimuli director, Angeles, we work together to create these fabulous plans. And whether the person is in early stage or late stage, they are still engaged daily, every day, throughout the day. So for example, for late stage, okay, we do aromatherapy.
Right.
We do a lot of sensory, a lot of texture, a lot of activities with textures. We do hand-over-hand painting if they're unable to, use their hands. We do, every morning, all the homes start out with exercises, which, eye-hand coordination exercises, tossing the balloon back and forth, a range of motion, stretching, chair yoga, walking, and then it, moves into, we'll do Sunday in the kitchens, which is all about, the sense of smell and taste. And all homes do these activities, but they're modified. So they're successful with each activity, because what we want to do is build our residents up for success. We don't want to give them tasks or activities where they're unable to do it and become frustrated.
That's fantastic.
So,
I know that, and probably my friends in the home care industry, I'll probably get some calls from them, but what you do, an example of what you do, and what many, other homes in other parts of the country that I've seen many of them do a good job as well. you just can't have a caregiver from a home care company or, doing these types of things. I just don't see it. All right. So, sometimes people that keep their loved one home because their loved one said, I want to be at home, but it's really could be have negative impact on them by being home alone and not having these types of activities. Wouldn't you agree?
I absolutely do agree. It is extremely challenging for families who are caring for their loved one with this disease at home to engage with them for 12 plus hours a day, continuous. They need continuous stimulation and engagement. And it is very rare to find a caregiver that can do that. My team go through extensive training, continuous training daily, okay,
Right.
on how to engage with their residents. First, you got to know your resident. You got to know them. What may be successful with one resident may not be with another. That is why my program is so flexible and detailed specifically to each resident's likes. So everybody is engaged doing something, whether it's painting or it is using modeling clay or gardening, flower arranging, any kind of crafting, using the hands, doing house tasks, folding clothes, sorting. But our biggest that we're very passionate about is reading. I have a program called Reading Warriors, and it is to encourage and to maintain our residents' reading skills.
Right.
If they're still able to read is so important.
Yeah.
And every day our residents are reading, whether they're reading out loud or the care team is reading out loud to them, which is extremely stimulating for anyone.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, Lauren, we're going to take a quick break, I promise, just
Sure.
to recognize our sponsor. When we get back, give you the opportunity to share all your contact information and learn about some of the things you've published as well. So do you know anyone who may be concerned about an older driver? Well, Senior Care Authority's Beyond Driving with Dignity program is a facilitated self-assessment program for older drivers. This program has been designed to serve as a vital tool to facilitate older drivers and their families as they make the appropriate decisions regarding the future of one's safe driving career. If the individual is a safe driver, an advisor will provide him or her with strategies on how to remain a safe driver as they progress through the aging process. If driving retirement is the appropriate decision, then the individual and their family are offered possible alternatives, resources, and a specific plan to ensure a smooth and successful transition from the driver's seat to the passenger seat. So to learn more, go to www.beyonddrivingwithdignity.com or call 877-907-8841 to connect with a Senior Care Authority advisor in your area. We're back with Lauren Mahakian, who founded Family Connect Care and owns some residential care homes, specifically for those with memory care issues. So, Lauren, commercial time. Feel free to share with people your website and anything else, any contact information you'd like to share.
Sure. Well, thank you very much. So to learn more about Family Connect Care and our memory care homes, please visit familyconnectmemorycare.com. And also check out my latest published book, Unlocking the Doors of Dementia. It is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Great. Right. So yeah, let's talk about that a second. The unlocking
Sure.
doors of dementia. So who are you trying to reach there? And I think it kind of tells a lot just in the title. But who's kind of the market you're trying to reach there?
Sure. The adult children, spouses whose loved ones have memory loss. It's a practical guide. It's a help for resource for families and their loved ones. It's a good read, I must say. And if families are having difficulty, let's say, showering their residents, they can go straight to that section of the book, of the guide, and we'll give them tips and techniques on how to successfully shower their loved one, any kind of behaviors it addresses. So it's my experiences over the last 16 plus years, all kind of put together for families to get answers to their questions. I know there's a lot of books out there on Alzheimer's and dementia, but I wanted to write something for families that they could find answers to their questions, and that's my book. I'm
Wonderful.
pretty proud of it, and families are I've received very positive feedback that they are enjoying the read and getting those tips and techniques.
That's great you did that. I mean, I know what it takes to write a book. I've done one myself, and so congratulations on that. That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is a journey,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah, that's right. So, we just have a few minutes left, but maybe you could just, talk about, I look at, in the smaller care homes, let's say 6-bed, 8-bed, those types of, size homes. And I know that at the beginning you said that you really try to, depending on the level that they're at and the amount of care, you try to put them in the right location based on that. But I know it's not necessarily reality that it works that way all the time. You might have a mix. So what do you say to families that are maybe going and touring homes, all right?
Mhm.
And they walk in and they see those, which does happen on occasion, and they see those people sitting and they got their head bowed, or they're kind of looking off into space, and maybe their loved one isn't quite there yet. All right. What do you say to those people who experience that as they're looking?
Well, sure. Well, first of all, before we tour a family, we gather as much information as we can regarding their loved one, because I want to make sure that we're going to tour them at the correct home,
Right.
so they don't get scared. Because families do get scared when let's say if I'm touring them at my home for late stage, and their loved one is in early to mild stage. I'm not going to tour my family there.
Right.
I'm going to tour them to the home where their loved one would be the best match for. But I do have some families that I tour all the homes because they're curious and they want to see what each home looks like based on the stage of the disease. And sadly, it is the reality of the disease. So if I do tour them in the home and and it is a late stage home, and let's say the resident's head is, kind of bowed down, we're very sensitive to how that family is seeing this, and explain that although your loved one is not at this stage yet, please understand that they're still going to live a good quality of life, even in the late stage. And we kind of walk them through and share with them our programs and our services. I think a lot of, it just takes a lot of patience with families.
Yep. So let's, any just words of wisdom with the time we have left, and we got a minute or so left, but any just words of wisdom for those family members who are at that stage now of, hey, it's becoming too difficult for me to take care of mom or for me to take care of dad. It's just becoming too tough on the family. I'm all stressed out. Maybe I should look. Just words of wisdom when they're at that stage.
Sure. You first of all, you want to just take a deep breath and one task at a time. And when you are going to tour communities, don't get blinded by the chandeliers. And what I mean by that is don't get blinded by the aesthetics of the community, because the chandeliers are not going to take care of your loved one. So you want to really make sure that your eyes are wide open and you're asking the right questions and search for help, ask for help from a professional, a senior professional that has the experience, and you want to make sure it's the right match for your loved one. It's not just the physical appearance of the community. You have to see if the community is able to care for your loved one.
I think in our industry, I think you'll agree. I always, I've said to families, beauty's only skin deep on the building itself. So
right, exactly, yeah, exactly. Has to be the right match for you, for the family, but most importantly for your loved one.
Yeah, great. Lauren Mahakian, thank you so much for joining us. Check her out at familyconnectmemorycare.com. Thank you, Lauren, for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us. Be safe. We'll talk to everybody next week.
You've been listening to Boomers Today with Frank Sampson. To learn more about today's show, visit boomerstodayradio.com and join us next time for another edition of Boomers Today.